finally here. I finally got it in the mail. I have the new Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. I bought it and I'm reviewing it and showing you all of the details of this gorgeous palette so you can see how it performs, see how it works, see some comparisons, and determine if you need to buy it or not. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Obviously, we're doing a Natasha Denona I Need a Nude review. This is the new Natasha. I always say Natasha, just so you guys know. Like if I say Natasha, we have the new Natasha Denona I Need a Nude eyeshadow palette. This retails for $69 USD. You can find it on Sephora. You can find it on Natasha's website. There are some affiliate codes that are like lingering around there from some of our favorite creators. I personally don't have one, but you might be able to find one floating around out there. And then it's also available at Ulta Beauty and I believe Beautylish as well. This is a 15 pan eyeshadow palette and it retails for $69 USD. So the I Need a Nude eyeshadow palette is 15 nude eyeshadows that feature Natasha Denona's iconic matte and metallic formulas, her smash hit sparkling foil formula, and new innovative wet effect formula in glossy and sparkly finishes for a touch of dazzling magic. According to Natasha Denona, the I Need a Nude palette provides a full spectrum of long-lasting, rich pigmented nude shades to complete a color story and create the most neutral, soft, and classic makeup looks for day and night wear. The desirable nude-toned must-haves feature Natasha's signature formulas that blend seamlessly, are silky soft on the skin, and are effortless to apply. They provide multiple variations of Natasha's famous signature soft mattes, a brand new high shine foiled metallic, and a sparkling wet effect topper that is meticulously designed to perfect the textures and finishes that lead you to discover the ultimate nude looks for yourself. The palette is long-lasting with no fading, creasing, or fallout. It is blendable, buildable, and effortless to use. Matte shades are buttery smooth and moisturizing. Metallic shades are made with crushed crystals and pearls. Well, that's interesting. All shades are water-resistant, paraben-free, mineral oil-free, preservative-free, alcohol-free. It retails for $69 and it is, like I said, 15 shades of beautiful nude perfection. So we're going to get into a quick little swatchy swatch so you guys can see the swatches, and then I will show you guys an eyeshadow tutorial and finish up with some comparisons. All right, here we have the full palette swatched out on my arm. I did want to make note that Silhouette, which is that really, really deep brown, like right in the middle of my arm, really had a hard time swatching that one. And then the other one that really stood out to me as like a really great shade is Muse, which is the one next to Silhouette. It's this shade right here. That went on so pigmented. It was like one finger swipe and done, and it was very, very like smooth and buttery. And looking at my arm, like these almost look warm toned, but they're really a cool tone like story. So don't let my skin tone deceive you, but I really feel like my skin is pulling warm with these shades for some reason. Okay, so we have you guys completely zoomed in, and now let's take a look. This is your up close and personal look. We're gonna do just a really simple eyeshadow tutorial with this eyeshadow palette. I'm very excited. I've already prepped my lids and they're very like ready. They are ready. All right, so there's all these gorgeous, lovely shades in here. I do have a Sigma E40, and we're gonna take this shade right here. It is called Tender. I'm gonna use this for the crease today. I'm gonna tap out my lids again just to make sure they're not all gross and, you know, that sort of thing. We're just going to use like a sweeping motion to gently build this into the crease. Like it's pretty pigmented, obviously, because like Natasha Denona's formulas are super pigmented, but that went on like super easily. So we'll do the same thing on this eye. Again, just using that Sigma E40, and we're doing a swiping motion and buffing this into the crease. We are tapping off any excess like shades as well, because like I just don't want it to be super pigmented. Natasha Denona's shadows are pretty pigmented like when they go on the eye. Now we're taking a Singe EO5 and we're going to deepen up this eyeshadow look. I'm going to use Silhouette. And we're gonna pack this on the outer corner. I'm actually gonna like stamp this first and then we'll blend. We're just gonna take it to right about the middle of the lid. Like that. So once we are packing it on, I'm actually going back and I'm like swiping, doing a swiping slash like circular motion to just try and blend and diffuse this out. But that's really pretty. Very like pigmented. It's gonna make a really great like overly dramatic smoky eye, which that's fine because I've been wanting to play with some of those like wet shades, so that's okay by me. This is such a great little detailed brush from Singe Beauty. Like these are just blending out so well. I don't know why I'm surprised. Natasha Denona is amazing. And I just love Natasha Denona, like in general, like her shades are just so fantastic. I'm gonna wet down my EO1 from Singe. We're gonna use a shimmer shade. The shade that I'm feeling today is in between these two. I kind of want to use Sheen, but I also want to use Mia. So Mia is like a ballet pink and the other one is almost like a champagne shade. And I think we're gonna use this. I think we're gonna use the ballet pink one because the contrast will be really pretty and it's a little bit more of that pink shade. So let's see. There we go. There it is. There is the Natasha Denona foiled that we know and love. It's so pretty. Like that's pretty. That is just so pigmented. So I'm going to clean off my brush with my Sigma switch, and then I'm going to use this shade up here. I'm going to pop this like on the inner portion, like right here, and we're going to marry the whole look together because it's a little bit like, it was a little flat, like right in the middle. And look how pretty that is. So far we've used 4 shades and that's just like stunning. Wow. That's a very pretty, like this could be a bridal look so easily. I'm going to take a Singe EO4. I'm actually just going to use like a really light shade. We're going to use Vogue, and I think I'm going to just dip into Wit a little bit, and we're going to put this on, the lower lash line. So dipping into Wit and Vogue, we're putting this on the lower lash line with a Singe EO4, and then just taking it and blending it into this shade up here. So pretty though. And then I am going to use this shade right here on the lower lash line as well, the Silhouette shade. We use that like on the outer corner. And we're just going to diffuse this from the outer corner in, like so. So this is the eyeshadow before I tame my brows and before I put on mascara. So I'm going to do that real quick. We will zoom out and then we will take a look at the completed eyeshadow. So here's the completed makeup look with the new Natasha Denona, my eyeshadow look with the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. This is so fun. So I have been waiting to dig my fingers into this, but then I also wanted to do some comparison palettes for y'all. So I pulled out some palettes that I feel like are really, really similar and could possibly dupe the I Need a Nude palette. So let's grab those. Let's look at some of the comparable in size and also comparable in color story eyeshadow palettes, and then we'll look at the one Natasha Denona palette that I pulled out. You guys probably already guessed that one from the, but the first one that I did pull out is the Lust for Dusk from ColourPop. This was a release a couple years ago, but the color story really reminded me of the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette because of the pinks in here, the champagnes. You also have these cooler toned matte shades in here. One is a 16 pan eyeshadow palette. The other one is obviously 15 shades. And it does tend to run a little bit warmer on the Lust for Dusk like color story. But if you really think about it, like this shade and this shade look really familiar. This shade and this shade look really, really similar. This shade and this shade, possibly even this shade. So it would be really cool to see these like swatched out. So stay tuned for a swatching video, a swatch comparison video of the I Need a Nude. Now, the next one is a ABH like OG go-to favorite of a lot of people. If you have this one in your collection, then definitely pull it out. And it is the Sultry palette from Anastasia, Beverly Hills. It's actually got a lot of like cool tones in it. It does have that really dark matte brown, really dark matte brown. And what really reminded me of the Natasha Denona in general was like all of these like bronzy, cool toned, shimmery shades. In swatch, we will see how it actually looks, but I think that this is a very, very, like the Sultry palette is a really, really similar color story. She actually did 2 releases of this, and everybody has been like asking for her to bring it back for a 3rd release, so there's a possibility maybe she'll bring that back. But if you do have the Sultry palette and you guys want to see some swatch comparisons between the 2 of these, then leave me a comment down below. And the other eyeshadow palette that's like comparable to this one was the Stone Cold Box palette from ColourPop. This is a 30 pan eyeshadow palette. So obviously there's twice the amount of shades in there. And then you have the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. So one is definitely bigger, but they do look really, really similar. Very curious to see if the ColourPop can like stand up to that like wet formula that that Natasha Denona has. There is the Natasha Denona Mini Starlit palette. This is only 5 shades. When it came out, I was like, that looks like a mini version of the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. So I'm actually gonna flip it around so you guys can see here what these look like side by side. I definitely would say like Mini Starlit might be a curated version of I Need a Nude. But those were the eyeshadow palettes that really came to mind when I was looking at the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. Super beautiful, super cute palette. I definitely think like if you do not have the Glam palette, if you don't have the Glam palette is the one that really reminds me of this palette. And like, I don't have the Glam palette, so actually having this one, I think it ticks all the boxes for me. It's cool tone with a touch of like a couple of pinks in here. It would make stunning wedding makeup. Like this is like a wedding makeup eyeshadow palette, or like you can go from night to day and day to night. Like it's just such a beautiful palette. I'm definitely excited to do like a 3 looks 1 palette. I did one of those with the Yucca palette. I did swatch comparisons with the Yucca palette, and we will be doing that with the I Need a Nude palette as well. Thank you guys so much for watching and staying tuned to this video. I hope you consider subscribing. Subscribe. And then you guys will get to see the swatch video that is coming to my channel very soon. And I hope I get to see you again. Bye!